Hi, my friends. I thought I'd show you what I did today. I'm so excited. So I had these links and drops and things, and I had papers, did a couple of tests with our resin, and here is one of them. So start with this one. So this has one of my papers underneath it, and it turned out really, really well. No bubbles, just the right dome. Quite happy with that. This one I did in about 5 layers, and it also, I thought, turned out really well. What was interesting though is the resin I used, thank you to Rebecca, is well, no, I have two. Anyway, I'm using a Let's Resin brand. I'm using the little Let's Resin UV light. And I had some colorants that Rebecca gave me. I'm so excited to mess around with those some more. But here's one thing I wanted to share with you. Okay, so this is hardened up a little bit, but I put quite a bit of colorant in here, and it's still pretty translucent for being black. And I wanted to have some streaks of blue in there, and it turned out pretty light. The problem with dyes for resin, I'm sure you guys all know this, but if you oversaturate with the colorants, then your resin won't cure properly. And there's certain colorants that are made for UV and LED, and colorants that are used for the long cure epoxy resins. And I didn't check to see if my long cure epoxy resin tints would work with this. It's okay. So if you look at this one, I did black on the bottom, and then I did a layer in that ice blue. I put gold in 2 of the layers in hopes to give it some depth. That'll be fun to wear around a little bit, I think. Maybe some, casual bling. So just because I wanted to play show and tell, the starter point for some of these were some really fun papers I did on my gel plate. So this is purpley blue gold, iridescent-y colored. And this one is just an amazing blue. I think it's a mixture of 2 different blues with a interference blue over the top. And another one that was about 4 different layers is basically a maroon and gold with some really cool swirl. So here is what the purple looks like as a blank, and I thought I'd do one of these with you. And here's what my blue one looks like. By the way, if you hear some noise in the background, that's my dehydrator. So this is a doming tray, and here are some other papers that are in there. I found that to be a little bit cumbersome to work with, so I'm going to show you my trick right now. This is an acrylic stamping block, a little itty bitty one. And what I like to do is put some painter's tape down, because you do not want to get resin on these things. Because the number one thing to be sure of course, is that your doohickey is level. So, then you have to be prepared for spillage if you're anything like me. And so when Randy put this bench in for me, I made sure he tested it to be level. And whenever you do anything involving resin, it must be level. So you have to account for your bail on any kind of a pendant. And I think I'd have to look at our design again to see what we have to do when it comes time to do the resin part, whether we'll need to have a prop on here. It reminds me of having too much wine and trying to think of the word for an armature, and all I could think of was aperture, God damn it. So here we go. So I covered it with painter's tape, double stick tape. This isn't going anywhere. It's level. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to work in layers, layers and layers, because you don't want bubbles. You also should wear a respirator. I'm breaking the rules right now because I'm talking. And so what I like to do is just pour less than you think, pull it out to the edges, and keep doing that. If you have too much, if you try to do this in one pour, you risk in UV resins, because it cures so fast, you run the risk of it not curing properly. And I try to look at it at all the angles, make sure it is all covered. So layer number 1 is about ready. Even though I can't see bubbles, I'm going to do just a quick flame. Just in case some of them form, you know. So we're going to put this under the little lamp, push the button, and I'm going to cure only for about 30 seconds. Okay, so that's been about 30 seconds, and what I'm hoping for is that it's a little tacky, but this feels pretty cured. So what I like to do next is tear apart my leaf. This stuff is a bear to work with, you guys. I don't know if you've played with it much, but man, you look at it and it floats. And so I just dab some of those little fragmenty things on here and try to scooch them about. Sometimes they lay down in chunks that are bigger than what you want. That's just a bummer because it's really hard to get them to move. But here we go, just random placements. I'm not gonna try to do too much more because I want to get a multi-dimensional look. And so here I go with the second layer. And you put it right there. And again, less than you think. And you spread it out, making sure that it makes contact with the sides, because these resins like to pull away. You'll have to forgive me if this is stuff you already know, but I felt like it would be fun to have a little review. I haven't worked with resin in a while. Used to be really obsessed with it. And it's so shiny. We love our bright and shiny things. And then I get it up to eye level, see if I've hit all the edges. And again, I'm gonna do a quick flame just to see if any bubbles pop up. And there we go, into the light. Follow the light. Here we go. And now I took it out of the light and I'm ready to do my third layer. So here we go. I know I sound like a broken record, but again, less than you think. Pull it all the way out to your edges. When we do our project tomorrow, this part's going to be easier because you won't see those inner edges. But I think the thing that we'll all need to remember is that whatever you do, do not try to do it all in one pour. By the way, if anybody's using a 2-part epoxy resin, that tends to keep its color over time better than UV resin. And all you have to do, if it has a 6-hour working time, then right about at 5.5 after you've done your first pour, that's when you want to, dang, this is crazy. That's when you want to, when the resin is tacky, but you can still muck with it, that's when you want to mix colors, add additives. But with UV resin, just do this, you know, work on it little layers at a time. Add some dimension this way by putting your gold in layers. And maybe I have too much in there, but hey, you know, I just want to keep going for a little bit here. We'll see how it goes, you know? Really looking forward to our time tomorrow. Okay, now, I'm gonna look at this really closely. And then I'll flame. And then under she goes. I think this looks pretty good. Now I'm ready to do another layer. By the way, you guys, I'll share with you in just a minute about my experiment with the acrylic inks. But I want to get this done. Boy, I just love how those papers look. One thing I didn't talk to you about, if any of you do want to do papers, you have to seal them. And I chose to use my matte medium. And I was going to use Mod Podge. That's what I used to use before I got into gel printing. And it had gotten hard and got gloppy, gacky, or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to put that under there, and I'll show you what I did with the dipping inks, the Green Stuff World. And I put some black and some purple together, but you can't even tell. And I put the gold flakes on them, and the paint kind of pulled away from the side, so I had to touch it up. So I don't think we'll be able to do the resin on it on this particular video, but I'll have it ready for our Zoom time. Interesting that how you get to see how the different properties work together. I hope everybody is having an amazing day. It is beautiful outside and breezy, and I'm looking forward again to our time tomorrow. So here is pour number, gosh, I think number 4. Now this one you have to be this last one. I'm thinking that this will be the last one, because now this is our doming resin, and if you're not careful, you can have some mishaps of the resin pouring over the sides. But you want it to touch the sides, because otherwise it will pull away. This is a time, my dear, dear friend Rebecca, to not be in a hurry. I know you've done a lot of resin, so I'm preaching to the choir, but take your time in this part. Because even as careful as I was, there's evidence of some puckering along the side. I don't know if you can see that. Oh gosh, stay in camera. And I may even choose to do one more coating after this, that you just don't want to be in a hurry. Quick flame. I don't see any bubbles. It's just habit. I don't want bubbles. Doot doot. And sometimes I wear my Optivisor. Most of the time I don't. Like my friend Norma always said, when you wear a piece that has a teeny tiny flaw and you're the only one that knows that that flaw is there. And she would always say, if you're noticing that whatever, you're just standing too close anyway. So here we go. Do it for a minute. And here we go. Let's take a look at it. That's looking pretty good. And shoot, I wish I had paid attention. I think I would have wanted some more gold right there. I wonder if I can sneak a little dot on there now. Well, experiment, you guys. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be the final doming one. And I'll tell you, broken record here. Got to work carefully and slowly. Put less on there that you think. But it'll be a breeze with that closed dome, half circle thingy that we're doing tomorrow. We won't need to be careful in this way. So you don't want it to go over the edge, but you want it to touch the edge. I guess this will be useful if you do anything like what I'm doing with some bezel cups, or I don't know if I like that gold thingy. I'm going to take it out. Just pulling it out to the edges. I think that's going to have a nice dome on it. Do a quick flame. I haven't seen any bubbles. Doing it this way, not being in a hurry, really does help with that aspect of it. So I'm going to do the full 90 seconds on this one. It's funny, they say 2 minutes, but they give you a choice for 1 minute, a minute and a half, and then whatever 150 seconds is. You know, why wouldn't they do 120? I don't know. Beyond me, ladies. Let's see how this one came out. It should be done. Oh my gosh. There's a little bit of pulling right there, but I can live with it. So there we have it. Sweet. So 3 little test runs. Yay. I'll see you guys tomorrow.